In the previous video in this series, we looked at some of the key design principles of interconnected and interrelated data that Genesis 7 is built on. In this video, we're going to take a look at the user experience of actually working with data in a system designed on those principles. So first of all, I'm going to look at Genesis transactions. Now, this is an optional front-end module that you can use to manage contacts, inventory, invoicing, purchasing, all of that. If, however, you have your own preferred custom front-end solution to do all of that, that can still be fully integrated with Genesis accounting and Genesis business metrics in order to give you the full power of the interrelated data of the Genesis system while still having your own custom front-end solution. Or you can, if you choose, work with Genesis transactions, which is a rich set of modules and features to handle all that. For demonstration purposes, we're going to look at Genesis transactions. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, go into invoices here, and I have an invoice already completed. And you'll notice we have a couple of items. We have a customer contact information. And I'll show you just, first of all, within transactions, how you can navigate around really powerfully. If I want to see the related data details around this customer, I can just click this pointer button and it takes me to that customer record. I can look at various notes, customer info. I can look at all invoices and AR transactions associated with that customer. Let's go back to our invoice. I can click on it here specifically, or I can just generally jump back to the invoices section, which takes us back to where we left off, which is on this invoice. But I can also drill down to the detail of any item on this invoice. I can go down here, and this shows me the PO that that this item was originally purchased on. It shows me a little more detail about the invoice item itself, more of the invoice itself. I can click here to go back to that invoice. And there are multiple ways throughout the transaction system that you can do this navigation, tracing the data very powerfully. And of course, you have a list view where I can do finds and I can show multiple invoices and then drill down to the detail view again. Now, one thing I want to point out is this is all just the front end. What Genesis does is it has an automated process for posting transactions through to accounting and business metrics. So you'll notice here we have what we call the status stage, and you can custom design status stages for each module or section of your business. So each invoice goes through a system of stages. In this case, we've defined it in this order. It goes through review, printing, closing, posting, and that's when it posts to accounting, and then completed. This one right here is in the completed stage, which means it's already posted through to accounting. Now, if you have your own custom front-end solution, we would integrate it in such a way that you would have some equivalent to the advanced status process that would, again, post your data through to accounting. And that's one of the real challenges with having separate applications for different aspects of your business. So it's not uncommon at all to have to take your data from your transaction system, like your invoices, and having to export it to get it into your accounting system. And that can be done manually. There can be some sort of scripted process. Sometimes businesses will just re-enter the data, so you'll have one person who's in charge of invoicing, they're entering it in on their system, and then you might have your accounting or bookkeeping department re-entering the data, and you can have multiple re-entry of data that is just not efficient, as you understand. Now, sometimes that process in the growth stage of a business is, of course, necessary. You need to have quick solutions to manage your data, inexpensive solutions, and so you set up the application or solution that will handle it quickly, and you move on. But at a certain point in your business's development, you really want that integrated data set. Where you're not either awkwardly exporting and importing data between systems, or worse, manually retyping out data. Genesis really solves that at a level that most often businesses assume they have to be a huge corporation to be able to afford these sort of integrated and customized systems. Genesis makes this affordable and at your fingertips. Now that we've taken a look at some of the ways you can trace this interconnected and interrelated data throughout Genesis transactions, in our next video, let's look at Genesis accounting. We'll take some of the data we were looking at in invoicing in Genesis transactions that's been now posted through to accounting, and we're going to follow that data in the accounting modules. We'll start by looking at some reports and then look through to the details and find ways of tracing that financial data, looking at the journal details and even tracing it back to the originating invoice data. And we'll begin to recognize just some of the real power of working with data that is truly interconnected and interrelated in its basic design. So I'll see you in the next video.